What's up?
Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to walk you through how we actually scaled the mountain in the forest. It took us a combined 30 hours and was one of the hardest challenges we've ever taken on, so I hope you guys enjoy watching how we did it. First off, I want to make some ground rules clear so that we're set from the get-go. We decided we wanted to make this challenge as realistic as possible, so we made sure that tree regrowth was turned off, which meant that the more trees we cut down, the further we had to travel to get logs. We'd also seen a lot of videos on YouTube where cheat codes such as God mode or building or weapon hacks were used, but we thought that would defeat the point of what we were aiming for. The only small cheat code we used was that we set the game to vegetarian mode, which meant that the mutants only appeared at night. We did this because we thought that having mutants constantly knocking down our builds and attacking us whilst we cut down trees would just cause way too many problems, so by setting it to vegetarian mode we could skillfully avoid the mutants as much as possible whilst we built. Also, it gave the game an I Am Legend kind of feel, which was pretty cool. So, with all the ground rules laid down, we started building. We actually started off by building just over to the right of where we ended up with our main build. The reason we started here was because our original intent wasn't even to scale the mountain, we just wanted to see what was on top of this small ridge. But once we were up there, we thought, why not just keep building and see how far we can go. Using custom stair builds, we climbed up the side of a slope, aiming for the small dip between the two peaks you can see here. Our thought process was, if we can reach there, we could simply walk along the top of the mountain all the way to the top. However, we were soon stopped in our tracks by the first of many invisible walls. Because of this, we quickly realised that wherever the mountain render loses quality, that's likely where the invisible wall was going to be. This now meant we had to change our destination. Now we started aiming for the side of the mountain, which is lined with smaller ridges from the base up to the middle of the mountain. But because we were no longer building up a slope, we had to reinforce our custom staircase with its own foundations. We angled the ramps in a certain way which made them work almost as a flat surface, and then began to stack more and more ramps on top to gain an upward trajectory. Again, just to be clear, we didn't use any cheat codes or building hacks for the flat stairs. This is something anyone can do in the normal multiplayer mode in the game. With this much effort already being put into the build and no real progress being made, we started doubting ourselves and began to wonder if this was actually worth it. We were already having to travel relatively far to find more trees to cut down, and the ramps didn't even really seem to be going anywhere. We'd even built a zip line to get back down quicker, but a lot of the time that method proved less than effective. We were hitting invisible wall after invisible wall, and the odds of us reaching the mountaintop seemed bleak. Having totally underestimated how long the challenge would take, we started to discuss the possibility of restarting the build from the actual base of the mountain, and once we got to the point where the staircase refused to go any higher, it was settled. We moved all of our sleds and campsite and set up a new base here, at the bottom of the mountain. It didn't take too long to build ourselves back onto the ridge from this angle, and our new aim was to use the ridges along the side of the mountain as new foundations for our stairs. Another build we implemented at this point was to use the crane build. This proved massively helpful because we were making great progress with relatively low amounts of wooden rope. Overall, we probably saved about 50 to 100 logs by going with the crane idea. We ended up using 2 crane builds on this challenge, and in order to get on top of the crane so that we could build more stairs, we used a water catcher and a cabinet as step ladders. Using more stairs, we managed to navigate our way to a wider ridge, where we placed the second of the 2 cranes to get to the final ridge on the mountain. It meant building some awkward stairs and having to constantly crouch to get around falling off, but it was the best we could do at this point. Another thing to remember is that at this point, if one of us were to fall off, we'd instantly get knocked down, which would mean one teammate would have to come all the way back down to pick the other up. Up close, we felt like we were making great progress and we were nearly there, but then whenever we'd go out to harvest more logs, we'd see the mountain from a distance and realise how much further we really had to climb. Somewhere in this part of the building progress, we noticed that if we placed stairs at just the right angle, we could make the foundation pole go all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. This meant that for certain builds, we could add logs without having to climb all the way up. Again, no cheats were used here, we just got lucky on a handful of staircases. With so far left to climb, we were trying to come up with ways to use our time more efficiently, and one thing we did which saved us loads of time was to build log holders on the cranes. We'd fill up the log holders and ship them from crane to crane in a relatively short amount of time, saving us loads of time and energy, which at 18 hours into the challenge was a godsend. Here was where we made our best creative decision yet, which was to attempt a spiral staircase up the side of the mountain. By placing staircases on top of each other in opposite directions, we could crouch and jump our way up the flight of stairs. From here, we knew that if we persevered, we had a good chance of making it to the top of the mountain. By now, we were having to travel a long way to gather logs for the building, so far that we weren't even in the snowy part of the map anymore. Every trip back to the mountain reminded us of how far we had left to go, but that didn't stop us from having fun from time to time. There we go. Where are you?
You're there. About here you're gonna land.
Okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong. You ready?
Go on then.
Hang on. Let me.
You might never make it to here, yeah.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god, you're like a shooting star across the sky. What the hell?
And as we continued to cut down trees, climb the cranes, and make our way up the custom spiral staircase, we started seeing noticeable progress. At this point, it was simply a case of fortitude and resilience to achieve our goal. The stairs began to get further and further away from the mountain due to the invisible wall that was outstretched along it, and we started to doubt if we would even be able to stand on the mountain because of this. We were too far gone by now. After 25 plus hours had been poured into the challenge, there was no going back, and the only way to truly demonstrate the next 7 hours of building is by using a 1980s movie montage. What?
How are you even on it? Oh! Bed! We've done it!
We had done it. After 30 hours of chopping down trees, scaling stairs and cranes, and falling to our near deaths, we had completed our goal, and now we were here, there was only one thing left to do. You ready? There's a rainbow as well.
Go, man.
I'm going. Whee! Yeah! Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch, so if you want to see more content, links in the description below.